Yo, what's up, guys? It's Ben10clem here, back with another video for the Ben10clem Bowl versus the AP Bowl. Eventually, the college football playoff rankings will come out, and might do a separate video just going over that, because they don't come out, I think, until Tuesday night, if I'm correct, because the college football playoff polls are a little different, which we'll end up reviewing that a separate date when that comes out. So yeah. Anyways, we're going to be comparing the two, starting with the AP versus the Ben10clem Bowl. So the AP has Oregon at 1, Ohio State at 2, Texas at 3, Penn State at 4, Indiana at 5, Tennessee at 6, BYU at 7, Notre Dame at 8, 9 Alabama, 10 Ole Miss. So we'll start out with the top 10. My top 10 is Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Indiana, Penn State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Alabama, BYU, then Ole Miss. So I have Ole Miss at 10, Alabama at 8, BYU at 9, Tennessee I have at 7, and I have Notre Dame at 6. So I mean, we still technically have the same top 10 in the top 10. Top 4 is a little different. I mean, our top 5 is pretty similar, other than I swapped Indiana above Penn State. And now let's go over through 11 through 20. Through the rest. So 11 is Georgia, 12 Miami, 13 Boise State, 14 SMU, 15 Texas A&M, 16 Army, 17 Clemson, 18 Colorado, 19 Washington State, 20 Kansas State, 21 LSU, 22 Louisville, 23 South Carolina, 24 Missouri, 25 Tulane. So I have Georgia at 11. Then I have Boise State at 12, Miami at 13. Then I have Clemson at 14, SMU at 15, Texas A&M at 16. I really don't think Army should be above the 16 range. I really don't think they should get into the top 15. Even if undefeated, I think they'd lose to pretty much all those teams up there. I get it, they're undefeated, but it's a service academy school. They're really hard to get good. Clemson at 17. I can understand why they did that, but I don't know. Because it'd be interesting to see if Clemson played SMU during the regular season. I think it'd be really interesting to look at. Miami really would have to lose another game for Clemson to even make the ACC championship. And that would be extremely lucky for Clemson, because that means it would be SMU versus Clemson, which no one would expect. But hell, you never know. I have Colorado at 17. They have them at 18. Kansas State at 20 for them. I can understand. They don't have Iowa State still there. I do. Now, in the Coaches Bowl, they have Iowa State at 25. I also have Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Because they're doing really good. They're playing well, and I think they deserve it. I have them at 22. They haven't even considered them ranking, I don't think. Yeah, they've considered Iowa State, Arizona State, Pitt, Louisiana, and UNLV. And they had Iowa State drop out, Pitt, and Vanderbilt, which I had Iowa, Pitt, and Vanderbilt drop out. On the Coaches Bowl, they have Tulane, Louisiana, which I think this is the same Louisiana I'm thinking of. So if I go to standings and double checking, I think it's very similar. I'm pretty sure it's the same team I'm thinking. It's because it's not LSU. LSU is like, Louisiana Raging Canes. Okay, they are getting some votes, which is good. Because I think they do deserve it. Their only loss is to Tulane. They're first in the Sun Belt. They have South Alabama, Troy, and UL Monroe as their final games. The last game is an away game. I mean, they're just kind of dominating the Sun Belt right now. No other team can really compete with them other than Tulane. But Tulane's not even in there. I don't know. They're not a bad team, I would say, right now. We could do a little fun thing, too, this episode. We could do all-state playoff predictor, and I'll bring that up real quick. We're going to go to window capture 6. It's not there. We're going to add window capture. There we go. And then we're going to put it down here and then transform. So we're going to do this as well. This could be pretty fun to do. So it's going to be the chances of all the teams having a chance of making it. It's going to be really rough. So if we look through this, Georgia still has a high chance of making it, surprisingly. So if we look, these are the games they have left. I think they'll win all 3 of those. Will Clemson win or will Georgia win the conference game? I don't know if I don't think they make it. So if they don't make it, they still expect them to be Natty Championship winners, which is interesting. Now, if we replay this, let's say Clemson, for example. They win against Pitt, they win there, and they win against South Carolina. Does Clemson win their conference game? If we don't make it, I don't think we're even in it. Do they even have Clemson in? They do. That would be interesting. Like, if we don't even make it, the chance of Clemson make it to the playoffs would be 30% chance. Like, that's really rare. That would make everything look really weird. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Now, if they ended up they win all the rest of their games, they win out. Do they win the conference championship? Let's say yes, they do. They 100% make the playoff. They'd get a bye. And they say we'd beat Oregon. And they say Penn State would win it all. That's interesting to me because I feel like they wouldn't beat Georgia. I don't know. But, like, who's favorited the most to win everything? It's Oregon, which they'll beat these 2 teams with ease. I think they'll win their conference game. If we look here, I mean, they'll beat Indiana. Ole Miss winning it all would be interesting. I just don't see that happening. Nor do I see any of these outcomes. But, I mean, that's just some things to look at and then be interested by. And then when we look at the power index, I'm pretty sure they updated this for week 12. Yes, they did. Alabama is number 1 in the FPI. Texas 2, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4, 5 Ole Miss, Georgia dropped down 6, 7. Like, you look here, Miami's 11th, Clemson's 12th. Like, if you go based off the FPI ranking, Clemson's chance of making the conference or winning their conference is 9.5. Making the playoff, they have a 17.3% chance. Very low. So I mean, it'd be interesting to see. Georgia still has a 73% chance of making the playoff. Miami at a 60. So I mean, it's weird to see. You got to look at all this. The Hoosiers 100% should make it, in my opinion. And they have a 92% chance to make the playoff. The team with the highest chance of winning the Natty is Texas. Second highest chance is Ohio State. Third highest chance is Alabama. And then the next highest would be Georgia. And then you got Oregon. Then you have Notre Dame. Then Georgia, which is interesting to look at because Georgia's fallen off, and I don't even know if they'll make their conference. They have a 7.9% chance. Like, that's low. The team's most likely able to make the conference for make the conference for SEC. So if we look at the SEC here, there's a lot of things that could change here. Like the chance of making conference championship. Georgia's got a 7.9 chance. So it's either going to be Texas, Alabama, or Tennessee, probably Texas and Alabama, which is wild. Not seeing Georgia in a conference championship. I mean, it's wild to think. And then if we look at the ACC, for example, these three teams have a chance. American Conference, teams that are expected to win the American Conference is Tulane, at even above Army and Navy, which is interesting. BYU and Colorado, and then Kansas State. Those are the three teams in contention that could play in it. But BYU will probably be the team that makes it there. If Colorado loses again, if they lose at Kansas, I see Kansas State making it above them. I'm still high on Kansas State. Big Ten, you got three teams. They're confident that Ohio State wins. Pretty confident they make it. Then we look at the Conference USA. They are there, of course. Independence, a national championship, like that's a pretty high chance for Notre Dame, surprisingly enough. Look at the Mountain West, Boise State, 75% chance to win their conference. How about the Pac-12? Obviously, they're terrible. Then the Sun Belt, you got Raging Cajuns, Georgia Southern, most likely going to be there. But I mean, we took a look at the standings and what they were, but that's the comparison between the Ben10clem poll and the AP Top 25 Week 10 poll. Let me know what y'all agree with the more. Yeah, but that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know down below which one y'all like more, and I will see y'all for the next time. Peace.